Yay. Okay, so now I can run these through that, and then I can run these through that, and then maybe one day I'll hit puberty, and then we can start trying to rebuild these.
I'm rebuilding these frames because the last ones were just too unsquare and gappy. Between when I built the last ones and I started making these, I was able to sort out some of the problems with my miter saw. Check out the video link below to see what they were.
This will go right down inside this thing, and I can do a reverse plunge cut to get these exactly straight parallel with these boards. And if that doesn't line up exactly with the vent in the floor, that's fine, because who cares? Both of these vents will end up inside of that, and we just have to be close enough that it's either, that's a bit of wiggle over 12 inches, but you can't really see any difference in the gap there. Just do the best I can. We'll get some rough cuts and then we can start fussing the final lengths. And those might even not get fussed until we have those holes cut in those, and then these can be cut to match that exactly. So I'm kind of curious, how close is my angle? These are not two pieces I would end up gluing together, but yeah, so we're a little bit off there, but if we expand that a little bit, no one would even ever know. And if I want to fill that with filler, I can later. What I need to do really is establish what size pieces are going where, and then based off of that, mark in where I want to cut those holes, and then we can start fussing that stuff up. Yeah, I could do that. Now that could be a problem though. I could put a short one in there, because I want to have for absolute certain that I get a full board going across there, because then that'll go there, and this will end up right in the middle here. So we're good there, which means I can mark this for width here and here, and that does have to be tongued in, and so does this. And then we've got here to here. So that's the widths marked. Now we need to figure out the depths, and we can do that with this little short piece here and get this one actually tongued in. And then we can say, once this is in, I've got between about here and about here to work with. We can double check this over at this end, but unless it's really dramatically off, and it shouldn't be, and it's not, that's about the same. We'll take these three pieces over to the table saw. Okay, so this should keep this thing from catching the top of the saw blade and jumping out at me. Question is, how do I get these lines right? I could come down on them with the miter saw, but I don't want to change its position. Dremel? I can't get a straight line with a Dremel. Hand wasp is not a precision tool. I have a bad idea, but it might be my only option. So let's have a look at the bad idea. We can use this to hold this down. So what we could do is kind of like that. We can get a little bit more support on this side. So then this comes back to around here. And then we can hopefully use this to keep it square, and also use this to keep the end of it down. Cut up until we have a protrusion here, and then check how far over it needs to go. If I could do this, it would let me get a bigger face on that. I just need to see if I have screws that'll fit that properly. So this will help with the safety question. There, now we've got some anti-up protection. There's no way with it being this long I could ever hope to slide it with this miter fence. So instead of trying to slide it, it's lower the blade a bit, then move it, then raise the blade back up. So that's one, yay! So we're just gonna creep up on this. And hopefully that's gonna end up being about perfect. There we go, that's two. So we've got a wee little bit of a gap here. This one might be a touch short, or no, it got squished in that way. So once we get the fourth piece in, this should be pretty darn tight. So we're gonna try to rely partly on friction and partly on glue, and I can do good work. I want to get the frame pieces in first because it'll add a lot of strength to that. Right now it's barely got like 1.5 inches of material there. And if I glue these in first, I can make sure that I get them flush top and bottom, and if I need to get a clamp on them to get them in exactly the perfect position, I can get a clamp on them, and I won't be able to do that once these boards are glued down. I hope that was a good snap. That could be down a little bit flatter. There we go. That is perfect. See, and then I could get some of my little spring clamps here on the middle of these pieces. Where did my little spring clamps go? See? That gets it nice and tight in there. And then it's like I'm a real YouTuber with clamps and everything. I know, I'm sorry there's no Craig jigs, but I'm not a sponsored YouTuber yet. Short of having better tools, that's as good as I'm ever gonna do.